going pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just trying to struggle and survive through this week. It's speed bump after the next, man. So
Oh
uh,
man, don't say that. Don't say that. It's is today Wednesday? I don't even know what day it is. No, today's Tuesday.
it's only Tuesday, man. It's only Tuesday, and you know, you're ducking and dodging the scammers of the internet. You know,
If as long as you promise not to tell anyone, I'll let you in on a little secret. Cause it's just between us, off the record.
okay. As long as it's not about your pants being off.
Nope, nope. I am not working tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Well, I
Okay.
listen. I always work. Like it's not 100% not working, because that's not the case, right? But I am not going to be at my computer
Oh.
at all, at least most of the day, and probably not available by phone most of the day. How
Oh.
about that?
All
I am
right.
going to
Yeah.
be. I'm going up to a beautiful place called Rainbow River. It's a state park
Okay.
here in the lovely FLA. Maybe like an hour and a half north. Um, is it Rainbow Springs, right?
Uh,
Hold on, Rainbow Springs State Park. That's what it is. Hold on. I don't know if I can open it up and like show you. I don't. Am I like allowed to share my screen? Hold on. Let me cover up that sensitive information. No, of course it's. Oh, hold on. Let's go back here. So yeah, that's my plan, man. I'm going kayaking.
oh yeah. All right, man. Stay in the boat.
Yeah.
Stay in the boat. So if we don't see you next week,
Oh
Michael
no,
fell out of the boat.
you gotta find you gotta find the alligators. So here I'm gonna. Can I share? Like, I can share a screen, right? Do I have that
Yeah.
capability?
Yeah, you can share screen.
All right, look at that. Share. This is this is just the this is this what it looks like. Look at that clear water.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna just go. Rosie and I are gonna go. They got waterfalls and stuff. Rosie and I are gonna go and look at what pops up related searches. I don't know if you can see that or if it's too small. Rainbow
Alligator.
Springs alligators. So yes.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, I'd be
So there you
shocked to
go.
find
That's our.
some alligators in the spring water there, like the clear spring water.
Oh, all
Yeah.
the time.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, they're there. Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So what's cooking? What's going on?
Oh, not too much, man. Got the development stuff all happening on my side and chasing all that down. You know, it's a weird thing that, I deal with a lot of, unfortunately, technology. I know it's a pain in the ass. But
You do,
um,
huh? I didn't know that.
yeah, it's like kind of the how things are evolving with Zillow. I mean, I know it's like you put the fangs up,
Do you mean the
people.
devil? The devil? Is that what you're Zillow the devil? No, you know
Yeah,
what? There's so on the real estate side, and of course it flips over into the mortgage side too, right?
right.
These guys are looking for total dominance,
Yeah, some world
and
domination.
so they're trying to squeeze out realtors. They're trying to squeeze. I really believe in this. Maybe this is me, with my tinfoil hat on, but
Right.
the National Association of Realtors went through a lawsuit recently about um, buyer agent compensation, and it's a joke. I mean, the whole
Yeah.
thing's
Oh
stupid,
yeah.
but the um, I really like half of me in the back of my mind thinks that the big, you know, I I agent type, Zillow agents and Redfin agents and all that. I think they were behind it because they're trying to weaken the National Association of Realtors. They're trying to weaken the National Association of Realtors, and they're trying to hurt realtors because they want the realtors to be dependent on the big things, you know, the big iBuyers, the big Zillows, and all that stuff.
Right.
So
Oh
that's
yeah,
what
I
I
don't
think.
doubt it, man. And you know, they bought the Follow Up Boss software, I don't know, it was last year maybe or year before. Um, that was like a big platform focused on real estate sales and stuff. Um, yeah, so I think they're going to come out with some monster thing where, you know, Zillow is going to be on the front end for the customers, and then the back end will be Follow Up Boss, kind of pulling the strings to pull in housing and all that, and try to like create this dominant platform. But you know, like kind of like you're saying, is like Zillow is like squeezing out the real estate agents, but at the same time they have services and stuff that is dependent upon them to use and pay them. So it's like
Yep.
you guys like
Well,
shooting yourself
that's
in
the
the foot.
problem. Yeah, that's the problem with, you know, whether it's Zillow or, you know, I mean, the Redfin, these platforms, and they, you know, they sell leads, and so there's people that come in, realtors and lenders come in and buy these leads. I had a guy working for, you know, working for us, I don't know, a few 3-4 years ago, and he was spending, I don't know, 1,500-1,600 bucks a month buying Zillow leads for mortgages, right?
Mhm.
And you would think you're spending 1,500 bucks a month. You got to think you're getting something that's pretty ready, turnkey ready. These were top of funnel leads that were just crap. Um,
Wow.
and here and what they were doing, you know, it's like, okay, it's exclusive, right? You know, Brandon, you're the only one who's going to get these leads. When you get a lead, it's only, you know, you're the only one who's going to get that lead, right?
Oh,
And so since you're the only one getting that lead, guess what? You know, this is exclusive. Well,
supposedly.
what happens? What happens is now Brandon, the home buyer, clicks on a house in Zillow and says, yeah, I want information on this house. Well, that lead goes to a realtor. That lead goes to a lender who's buying those leads.
Hmm.
The next day, Brandon clicks on 2 more houses and says, yeah, give me information. That's going to different people, you know? I mean,
Hmm.
they say it's not, but bulloney. That's not what, you know, that's not my observation. And, you know, they're just not, you know, often they're not really ready. They're not really buyers. They're top of funnel, right? They're tire kickers,
Yeah.
and these guys are, you know, people are spending a lot of money on these leads, and you know, if you don't have a huge phone center and you're paying a bunch of people pennies, you know, it's not worth your money. You know, it's not worth your money. You got to spend, you know, 10, 15, $20,000 a month on these leads, and you got to have a
Hmm.
phone center. So as soon as that thing hits, bam, you're on it. And, you know, you have someone calling them and engaging them and staying on top of them on an ongoing basis. Otherwise, nope, ain't going to happen. Just not going to happen.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the problem with those things. You know, it's in my opinion.
Yeah, I didn't, and didn't just recently, I think this was it this month that they put into effect the no commission for buyers,
Well, yeah,
buyer
I mean, so
agents.
it's the NAR settlement, the National Association of Realtors settlement, and what it is you can't list buyer agent commissions in MLS. Essentially, um, it has to be negotiated separately, and I mean it's stupid. It's a disservice to buyers. It's a disservice to realtors. It's a disservice to, you know, home sellers. I mean, everybody. Nobody's winning with that. Nobody
Right.
wins with that. You know, I mean, it's stupid.
Yeah, there's
That's my opinion.
I saw this I saw this reel the other day. I was going to share with everybody here to see kind of the way it feels now to be a buyer agent there. It's,
You are making $500,000 and you were only going to pay me 30. You're getting 30 grand. I'm getting 1,000.
You guys are getting paid?
Yeah.
I think that's
I
the
mean,
way it's gonna feel now.
right.
But yeah, man. So, like that reel just talked about, with it's even in the mortgage origination arena where, you're competing up against others. And um, that's a piece I wanted to talk about today was, trying to pick Michael's brain and see what we can get to hit the table for everybody over here. So I've seen this guy like pull deals out of his ass from or like loans out of his ass to get them closed. Multiple people getting no's or multiple no's to people, and then Michael gets a hold of it, and somehow he's able to close these deals and these loans. I don't know how he's doing it. Maybe he's
I'm not telling.
So yeah,
It's and a lot of it for us is here's the secret, and it's not a secret, but it's a secret, right? The
right,
secret is people don't know.
yeah,
Um, like the originators, mortgage brokers, mortgage lenders don't know where there's a problem. So when, and this is what I train, our staff is don't hide the freaking problem, right?
right,
If I'm going to email a scenario to an underwriter or to you know, an account executive at a bank or a lender, right? We're going to send a scenario to them and we're going to say, hey, we got to look at this thing, man, right? We got to figure this out because, I want to try to do this deal.
mm,
And there's a problem, a potential problem, whatever it is, the X, Y, or Z. That's the first thing in the email, and it's freaking bold and highlighted in yellow. Here's the wart. What most people do, unfortunately, what most, mortgage professionals have a tendency to do is hide the warts,
right,
right? They're trying to hide the warts and say, "Oh no, there's nothing here. There's no problems." They're trying to make it invisible, and that's the freaking problem. Guess what? It's going to get found out. Guess what? It's going
mm,
to come up.
yeah,
If you think there's a problem, you got to speak it out loud. And then, so that's a big part of it. One is, I tell this to people. I tell this to our realtor partners. I tell this to our, team members. I tell this to the borrowers, whatever. I tell it to everybody. My
yeah,
job's to worry about every freaking thing that could possibly go wrong. If it's a
yeah,
possible that could go wrong, that's my job, right? And so we need to see that, predict the future, and have a game plan in place just in freaking case.
yeah,
Just in case.
yeah.
That's my
Maybe
opinion.
maybe you should give that originator client privilege feel. Like you're an attorney. Like, hey, look, let me know what you did, so I can defend you.
Right.
Otherwise,
Right.
we're gonna be
Yeah.
screwed.
Well, yeah, and but it's fun. It's funny that you say it like that because that's the conversation. And I say that like when we teach loan officer academy classes, same thing. I am telling those loan officers, those originators. I'm saying, you got to tell your borrower that, hey, I am, this is like attorney-client privilege. I'm your priest, your freaking doctor, your lawyer, and your therapist all rolled into one. And if there's something, you got to tell me every single thing, and don't hide anything because that's what I have to have everything, in order to make good decisions. And so I think that a lot of originators, the first mistake they make is one, they don't strive to get that level of confidence and trust with the borrower, and so
Yeah,
sometimes they're not getting good information, right?
right.
The other thing is sometimes they don't know the questions to ask, right? They
Yeah, I've
don't
seen
know
that.
they don't know like, okay, you know what, and that's just experience, right? What are the loan types, what are the problems, what are the issues that could happen. And then when they do know that there's a problem and they're, they try to hide it and camouflage it instead of go to, if you're a broker, if you're a mortgage broker and you have a handful of different outlets, and you have a wart on your loan, you got to say, hey, I got this freaking rash on this loan, can you deal with it? Because they're going to find it. And then you find out afterwards, oh shit, I shouldn't have sent it there. These other guys who could have, would have accepted it, but now I've invested, 3 weeks of a 30-day escrow period, and there's no way we can close in time. So there's two solutions to that problem. One is, in our model, like our business model is a little bit different, right, than a lot of mortgage, brokerages and small lenders. I'll say it like this: the mortgage industry, if we pretended we were the pharmaceutical industry for a minute, right? So here's the pharmaceutical industry, and imagine if they did business this way. You're the doctor. I walk in. Hey, I'm Michael. I'm a pharmaceutical representative from XYZers. I won't say Pfizer or whatever, but whatever, right? I'm the pharmaceutical representative from this company. What do you need, Brandon? What kind of issues are you having with your patients? And you're like, oh man, high blood pressure. Everybody's got high blood pressure. We need some. So then I go back to the lab and I make a freaking medicine. I'm mixing the shit and I'm, testing it on, monkeys and rats and, whatever. And
all right, Peter. Peter's not listening.
Right. And then I bring some pills to you and I say, hey man, I think this will work. And then I have to produce them and make them and figure it out. That's the mortgage industry, right? That originator, instead of coming in and saying, hey, referral partner, business partner, realtor Brandon, man, we're here. I am not the Lone Ranger. We're a team. I've got a team of people behind me. I am your contact. I'm the face of the team to you and your clients. And then the way we work, Brandon, is when you send me a referral, I have an intelligent conversation with this referral to determine the wave tops. If it looks like there's something here, then we dig deeper into the file, right? We're going to get the income documents. We're going to get the asset documents. We're going to get the credit. We're going to do all those things. And my team of analysts at our deal desk are going to pick this thing apart and make sure it's solid. And they're going to do it fast because that's all they're doing, right? So instead of the Lone Ranger coming in and saying, hey, Brandon, oh yeah, you want to send me a client? Great. Then the Lone Ranger does everything, does the original pre-qual conversation. We call that PAIL, properties, assets, income, liabilities, and credit, right? So we do, they do PAIL, then they send out a doc request, then they chase docs for 3 weeks, to get the borrower to send them their stuff, and that's a fact. That's what happens, real life. But in the meantime, they're trying to get other deals and they're doing other pre-quals and they're dealing with more people and they're not able to be focused. And so 2 or 3 weeks go by and Brandon, the realtor, calls, Michael, the mortgage guy. And Brandon says, hey, by the way, what happened with that Bob Smith guy I sent you? And I'm deer in the headlights, freaking like, oh shit. You know what? I called him 3 times, never heard back from him, kind of forgot about it. Why? Because I don't have a system or a process. Right. So what we've done, what our team did, we create a process where, hey, all right, I'm the face, I'm working with Brandon. I log that thing, right? I got you in there. I got your client. I'm going to log that thing. And that's going to create visibility for the rest of the team. And even if I haven't reached out or gotten in touch with them, when the pipeline's happening, the operations manager is going to be like, yo, dude, what's the story with this Smith guy? And the originator who's out there running around with his hair on fire trying to find business, is going to be like, oh, shoot, no, you know what? I haven't been able to get a hold of him. Okay, we'll take over. And the ops manager then makes sure people are reaching out, getting an appointment scheduled with this with this prospective lead.
Mhm.
And then the originator, the salesperson, and I mean that in a good way. People think sales is bad. I believe the opposite, right?
Yeah, you
If you're
gotta have
bringing
sales.
value to people and you understand what they need and you're doing good things for them, that's sales, and that's the best kind of sales. And so the salesperson is then going back to the referral source, the realtor, the builder, the attorney, the financial planner, and giving them meaningful feedback or engaging them saying, yo, Brandon, listen, you know what? You sent me Bob the buyer. You know what? We've reached out approximately 13 times in the past 2 weeks, and we've had zero contact. Can you please help? I know I let you know last week that we had reached out 7 times and that we were still trying to get a hold of him. Now it's 13 times, no contact. What would you like us to do? And now the realtor might very well say, yeah, dude, this guy's an idiot. I can't get a hold of him either. You know what? Screw him. And then the smart originator salesperson is going to say, listen, Brandon, I know you work hard for your clients and I'm with you 100%. Yeah, screw this jackass. But just in case, my team is going to put him on a drip nurture campaign, and we're going to be dinging him, once a week. We're not going to overwhelm him, once a week. And if he comes back alive, I'll let you know.
Right.
Now that realtor's like, holy shit, there's value here, and that's where the business keeps coming from. That's how
Right.
it works. It ain't
Yeah.
rocket science.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, be honest and help the real estate agent because, I mean, you're going to get a lot of business from that. And somebody was telling me something one time about how like the industry's trying to pivot away from like being that way. So originators are, instead of like working with real estate agents, they're trying to go direct to find buyers to get
Well, there's
loans.
there's yeah, so there's a lot of people with the idea that and honestly I think it's in part response to two things. The iBuyer stuff, right? The whole weakening of realtors, if that's the right way to say it, and I don't know that it is, but the whole weakening of realtors, or maybe centralization of realtors, right?
Hmm.
So I think one reaction to that in our industry is, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to count on realtors, so I'm going to try to go direct to the consumer, right?
Hmm.
Then the other side of it is, so that's one part of the reason people are thinking that. And the other part of it is, what, if I don't need realtors and realtors need me, I have more power. I will tell you, statistics are, and I'm a stats guy, that, and that 87.3% of all statistics are made up on the spot. So,
Oh yeah.
but the research that I've seen is the vast majority, like 80% of mortgages are referred by the realtor. In other
Hmm.
words, if that realtor's recommending you, the realtor's face to face with the borrower, they're building a relationship. So guess what? Who's got the relationship that can transfer that relationship? Well, that's the realtor, right? So
Hmm.
I still believe in making nice with realtors. At the same time, we build relationships with attorneys, we build relationships with financial planners, we build relationships with, small builders, investors, and so on. And then try to build value.
Hmm.
That's the trick. I think, why do so many mortgage people and realtors not get along when we really need each other? They'll get along because mortgage people can be idiots. Realtors too, but mortgage people can be
Yeah.
idiots. I can't tell you how many conversations I've heard, in doing training and doing sales training with loan officers, and I've on more than one occasion, one-on-one coaching with an originator who by all accounts should be doing better, right? But they're not getting referrals. They'll be like, hey, can you listen in on a couple phone conversations? I have an appointment at 4 p.m. to talk to Realtor Rick. And then, all right, well, call me first. I'll mute myself, and then you call them, and I'm just going to sit quietly in the background, and sort of see what you're saying.
Hmm.
And dude, I mean, usually it's within minutes that they're killing the conversation.
Right.
And and this would be what I call the sales appointment, right? You know, you do sales calls in order to get the appointment. Well, then when they get the appointment, this is where you're going to tune into that realtor's favorite radio station, WIIFM, right? What's in it for me? And that's what you need to be doing on that call. And so many times I'll see these guys get on the call and they'll, you know, you'll hear them and they'll start. We have a sequence. We have a sales sequence for this conversation, but they'll start this conversation with verbal diarrhea of the mouth, saying, "Oh, Brandon, wow, you know what? Thank you so much for taking some time to talk with me. You know, I really want to share with you how amazing I am and what an incredible loan officer I am and all the great and amazing products that my company has. And we have in-house underwriting and, you know, we have, processing, dedicated in-house processing team. And, you know, we have turn times that are, you know, faster than a slick snake on Sunday." And you're like, what the hell are you talking about? You know, instead of saying, "Brandon, I'd love to learn a little bit about your business. You know, tell me, how long have you been in the business?" Awesome. Where do you get your leads from? What, you know, tell me about your brokerage. What support do they give you? And all those, you know, you make it all about them.
Yeah, they do a product and company dump on people in the first 3 or 4 minutes, and it's like
diarrhea of the mouth, bro.
I don't want to hear about all the stuff you guys can do. Why don't you just answer, let me answer 2 questions, listen to me on 2 things, narrow down what you're trying to pitch to me, and then deliver what I need.
Yeah, my argument is the originator should never pitch product to a realtor. Never. You should understand that, you know, by the end of the conversation, by the end of the you part of the conversation, I call that discovery. So by the end of my discovery part of the conversation, I've discovered about my target realtor bullets of, you know, things that I think are relevant to them. And then I'm going back after that, right? So now I've talked about you, asked about you, right? Not talked, asked. And I didn't bounce, right? So Brandon, tell me about this, tell me about that. You know, what are some great experiences you've had with the lending partners you've been working with? I mean, it sounds, man, you've been in the business 7 years, so tell me about that. And then they'll be like, you know, a lot of times when you have that conversation, dude, they're having a conversation with a lender. There's got to be a reason why we didn't pay them to have the conversation. So they must be curious. So they may very well say, in my experience, you know, in that part of the thing, they might say, "No, man, you know what? I've had some good lenders. My guy retired or my guy moved or, you know, hey, man, you know what? He changed companies and now they suck and I have these problems, you know, and it's human nature on our part to pounce on that and be like, "Oh man, I always answer. Yeah, you said to me they don't answer their phone calls or they don't call you when there's a problem. Man, I always do that. I always call back." No, because then they're not going to tell you any more information.
Yeah.
You've stopped asking and now you're selling again. So, you know, we keep it about them. And then a nice little soft transition. Man, thank you so much, Brandon. You know what? First off, thank you for sharing a little bit of information about yourself and your company with me. I find it fascinating to learn about realtors. In fact, probably one of my favorite parts of my job, of my career, you know, and I've been doing this for 24 years, is the opportunity to learn about, you know, from a realtor, what works and what doesn't work, and then be able to kind of scale and scope my business to be better supporting of those realtors that I want to work with, those realtors that I think have shared values with me. You know, it's funny because you mentioned integrity, how important that is to you. For us too, hugely important. You know, I would rather starve than do bad business, you know? And we have these processes and systems for communication. Now I'm going to hit some of the bullets, you know, use some people, you know, so you know what? And
you got to be gentle on all that stuff.
Tell me about that loan officer that ghosted you. Why did they ghost you? Truthfully, I'm going to tell you, you know what? I'm not trying to defend somebody and I don't know what happened, but I can tell you a lot of originators get buried. You know, they don't have enough time. They don't have enough hours in the day. And the reason they don't is because they don't have a system. They don't have a support team. And so that's
Mhm.
something that we've really pride ourselves on, is having a process, you know. And so you're curing their problems without them knowing, right? They feel
Yeah.
good about you already because you talked about them first, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Everybody's
it's
favorite topic, you
right.
know?
I mean, that's the part where the products you have is different from the product for realtors that you want to partner with versus a product that you have for the borrower. And so, you know,
Right.
offering basically leveraging your ability to solidify that, hey, I'm going to help you get this borrower, this buyer to the finish line in a very subtle way where you're not like trying to unload the whole barrage of stupid content that your company marketing department gave you to
Oh
dish
my
out or
gosh.
whatever it is. It's just like, learn
The
about
things the
them,
things
get some
these
small
sales
talk.
managers tell them to say. I mean, I hear it all the time. Well, my sales manager or my branch manager said, make sure I tell them that we have in-house processing. Does that
Yeah.
make a difference to the realtor? Now, obviously, if during discovery you found whatever, I mean, whatever, I can't even think of why, but whatever, and then you can turn around and parlay that into a conversation and say, Brandon, it's, you know, yeah, man, I kind of understand how that can happen, you know, because not every company, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And so because we do this, I've found that we don't, we don't have that. But man, you got to always validate them too. Brandon, I've heard that. Unfortunately, that kind of seems to be like a trend. I'm not trying to throw my industry under the bus, but whatever it was, right? We kind of do that, and then
Yeah.
balance that with defending the other mortgage person, because if I'm just there throwing them under the bus, what do I sound like? Man, I
Yeah.
can't believe that
Yeah.
asshole did that to you. That jerk did this to you, right? No, now I'm obviously just
Oh yeah.
promoting myself. But if I say, and it's true, you can always see things from different perspectives. So, yeah, man, listen, I've been there. I've been there. I've had it happen where I literally, got a referral from a realtor and freaking, called them twice and then forgot.
Yeah.
But because that's happened to me, they didn't answer, and then 2 weeks later, the realtor asked me what happens, and I'm deer in the headlights like like a moron, like, oh my gosh, now because of that, we have a process and a system in place where
Yeah.
that information gets captured right off on our pipeline, and I'm not the only set of eyes looking at it. Our support team is making sure, and so now I fell on my sword. I
Hmm.
didn't throw someone else under the bus, but I told them how we solved that problem.
Right.
That's a win across the board.
Yeah. I mean, even real estate agents, get in this whole fury of constantly trying to dump. I've had it where I've tried to work with real estate agents, even veteran agents, and it's like, hey, I want to do these types of things, and I want you to kind of represent me with doing these things. And I kid you not, they were like, okay, well, here I'm going to draft a kind of an initial letter, as being a licensed realtor and to who potentially you want to do business with. And they drafted this letter. I swear to God, like the whole entire thing was like talking about their stupid real estate office, like their real estate agency. And I'm like, these people I'm going to do business with don't want to learn about how legitimate and how long you guys been in business and how everybody trusts you and all this other crap. I'm like, you introduce yourself, tag, in the signature, bam, bam, licensed realtor. Like that's all they need to know, and then just
Right.
get to where things are. And so, like, this is a person that was a real estate agent for like 15 years, and I'm figuring like, I'm gonna go talk to this person. They've been around the block. Their leadership here, here, and there. I'm like, okay. And then they pitch this stupid like
They don't know, man.
letter,
They
and
don't
I'm
know.
like, what is this? So do not do that, people. Do not. Nobody
Well,
wants
you
to
know
hear
what?
the life story of a real estate agency when
But
it comes to
here's
doing that
the
thing.
here's the important thing. Like, you know, in my opinion, there's no number one, and at the end of the day, you need to give them enough love, that other person. You need to tell them enough about yourself that they feel like, okay, this person's probably competent, and that's it. And if
Hmm.
you speak from a position of authority and confidence, you've accomplished that. And then after that, everything else is about the other person. You know
Hmm.
why? And the real reason why is psychology. people want to be friends with the person they're doing business with. They want to know you, they can trust you. But at the
Hmm.
end of the day, they want to feel comfortable. Because
Oh
if
yeah.
they feel comfortable, they don't have to understand all the crap behind the scenes.
Hmm.
They feel like, okay, you know what? I feel comfortable with Brandon. I feel like, you know what? He's my friend, like I feel like this guy's a good guy. He's like my brother. I know he's competent, but he's a good guy. And that means he's not going to do or say something or put me in a bad position. He's going to look out for my interests because I feel like he cares about me. I said it
Yeah.
many, many years ago, and I still say it. And this was quoted by Zig Ziglar. I think I probably said that before because I'm very proud of that. In good times, people do business with friends. In bad times, people do business with friends. Make friends. And that should be
Yeah.
the goal of any referral relationship, to be friends, to make
Oh
friends, to
yeah.
build a relationship, a trust
I know. I
relationship,
don't.
but a friendship.
Yeah, Mike, you've been around for a while. When did the sleazy salesman enter the real estate arena? Like as far as like the whole motto of like dumping product
Day
for
one,
sale.
day one, day one.
I just
Because
I
there's
just
people
figured like
like
in the
that.
80s and 90s people would no, I'm saying like I figured like back over in a certain period of time when it was like real estate, it was like, okay, hey, we're gonna what do you want to buy? What kind of house? We're gonna do this. Okay, but now it's like that whole dump product on your lap of, this is our company and this is
No,
our mission and this is this and it's
there's
like,
always no, bro. They've always, as far as I've
it's
been
always
around,
been
they've
there.
always been there.
Wow.
There's good ones, and then you know, there's the um frat boy types
That's what I
and
always think of when I
the
hear
frat
those
boy,
guys.
right? The frat boy types, but there's
Hey,
also
hey,
kind
what's
of
up? Oh, click.
The
Next
Karen
call.
types. No offense to anybody named Karen, but there's frat boys and Karens, and no kidding, man. That is a fact. What we see. I see it anyway. I
Yeah,
see it.
it's like
Frat boys
they
and Karens.
just as fast as possible try to like boom, 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 boom. Okay, they're not into it. Let me go to the next one. It's like you don't need to make 200 calls a day to try to get a deal. Like
But
that's
praise
yeah.
God, not all of them are like that, right? You know what? So here's the other thing. If I'm going to give advice to a mortgage professional, um, so this is something. There was a guy named Jim McMahon I was with CTX Mortgage Company approximately 150 years ago. They are no longer in existence. They were a mortgage company that was owned by the entity that owned Centex Homes. And
Hmm.
CTX was actually the stock symbol for Centex Homes. And so I worked for them. They had two big divisions. One only did business for people buying builder houses from Centex Homes, and the other did everything else. And that was who I was with. Retail, you ate what you killed. That was my first job in a mortgage company. I was doing SBA loans and stuff before that, but that was my first regular mortgage. I was a loan officer with them, 100% commission, and they had a guy who was at the time one of the largest producing branch managers in the industry. And they also had another guy who was brilliant, who was occasionally featured on, you know, CNN and other news sources as a mortgage expert, financial expert named Barry Habib. And so I was blessed to work with these two guys very early in my career, and they're both, well, McMahon's out of the business, I believe. Barry's still active, and actually, Barry runs um, kind of it's a market intel source called MBS Highway. Mortgage-backed securities is MBS. MBS Highway, great financial content, and but I was blessed to know these guys, to actually like interact with them. And McMahon used to say, and I'm going to butcher his quote. I'll say it as close as I can. He said, but there's enough people who will do business my way that I do not have to suffer the indignation of doing business with the masses. And then I'll add to that, sometimes the M is silent. Sometimes it's the asses, right? Um, and so if I'm dealing with someone and I'm getting a frat boy vibe or a Karen vibe, as a realtor, I don't care if they're a high producing realtor. I'm not interested. I just had that conversation with Zylat, our operations manager earlier today. She was asking about a realtor. We were doing loan for this realtor and on an investment property, and she needs a credit rescore. And I don't pay for people's credit rescores. I wouldn't. I think that's one. It's questionable ethics,
Hmm.
right? And if that person's a realtor and they're saying, well, I'm going to be sending you business, you should pay for this. That sounds an awful lot like what's called a RESPA violation, which is kind of like a quid pro quo. That's only just a little bit against the law, right? And so I kind of had that conversation with a realtor, and she went kind of silent on me. She's like, well, I have no problem finding someone, a lender who's willing to just pay for this for me. And I said, and you know what? And I sent it by text. And so hold on, I bet I can find it right here if this thing opens
Like it's
fast
like, yeah,
enough.
sure, if you wanna give up a relationship and doing closing loans with you because I won't pay a $70 fee that has nothing to do with our professional relationship
Right.
as
And this is the first time we're working with her, and they sought someone told her because she was having problems with a loan, someone told her to call me. Okay? And so I said, here you go. Um, she said, is it against the law to cover a realtor fee as a lender? And I said, could certainly be perceived as a RESPA violation. In order to receive business from the realtor, the lender is paying an expense of the realtor. That is the definition of a RESPA violation. And the tolerance is zero. A lot of people
Mhm.
think, well, I can give something of value to the realtor as long as it doesn't exceed $25. No, that's the IRS that says gifts under $25 don't have to be documented. RESPA, it's zero. It's
Yeah.
zero, zero, right? So it said lenders are prohibited from law by law from giving a realtor anything of value. And then I continued, and this was I have not heard from her since then, right? But again, someone told her to reach out to me because she had a problem with a file, her own, and someone else, and she didn't even know who it was that referred me.
Man, it
So,
sounds like she's
um,
gonna have a lot more than a problem with her
yeah,
deal files
but
in the
but check,
future.
but check this. So I said, and honestly, if you look at it the other way, I know my value. And I know what we bring to the table in terms of advice and support for realtors and for real estate investors based on 24 years of lending experience and even longer as a real estate investor. So it would be like me asking a realtor to list my house at a reduced cost, but expecting them to go above and beyond and provide exceptional service. I know my
Yeah.
worth, you know, and there's enough people who'll do business my way, or you could say ethically, or
You
you
know what
could
that does
say
though?
with
Like a good
integrity.
comparison there, Michael, would be like, hey, I have a realtor's listing my house. They're going to do an open house, but Mr. Realtor, I need you to hire the cleaning company to come in and clean up the house and prep it for me, so you can sell it. It's like, wait, what?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
no, like hire your own cleaning company. I'm just coming to sell the house. I'm not paying to have your house clean and all this stuff. Like, because she could get that credit score because she's entitled to own the report and walk away. Like,
That's the point. You do a rescore, it's gonna improve her credit, which means when she goes and buys a car, when she, whatever else she does, she's gonna benefit from that improved credit score. You
yeah,
know, it's not just for the transaction, it's it's whatever has to be done to improve her credit. So at the end of the day, um, and the funny thing is, she reported to me. She said, "Yeah, I think I've got like maybe 680 right now because
hmm,
of credit utilization, but I have some money, I have some cash. Should I pay some stuff off?" And I said, "Well, probably, but the only way to really scientifically know, because we need to get your score up right above 700. It could be 702, mid score 702, doesn't matter, But the only way to really know exactly it without guessing is to do a rescore. We do a rescore. there's a cost to the credit company, not to us. We don't charge a fee for it. We support the process. We help her. We collect the documents. That's going to say, hey, the balance is this and this and this specific documents, and we send them in. So we're working for free, and the credit bureaus and the credit reporting company are the ones that are charging for that. But why the heck should I pay them for her credit report? I mean, yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
it
It's like,
doesn't make sense. But more than not making sense to me is there's no. I mean, why the hell would I do it? There's no.
yeah, I mean,
What's in it for me? It's unethical. I
I mean,
think it's
because you're
unethical for her to have it.
already kind of, I mean, you're not giving like money to her, but you would give
We're
value.
performing our job. Well, we're
Yeah.
performing a service, but we don't charge for that service for
Right.
other people either.
Yeah.
So that's okay. Like,
Yeah. So I mean,
we're gonna
if she was to go somewhere and try to get it set up, somebody's going to charge her a fee for it just to get it all together.
yeah.
you
Well,
know?
and if a mortgage broker or originator is charged, here's what I tried to communicate to her. Right. So if someone's saying, "I'll do that for you, I'll pay that for you," gosh, is that the person that you really want working for you? Not just for ethics, but if that's what they have to do to get business,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's okay. So I don't
Yeah.
know,
I mean, that
man.
would be questionable for sure, man. Well, see, I mean, you run into all kinds of interesting
That's
people, man.
interesting is a definitely a way to say it. Interesting,
Right.
interesting.
Well, shoot, Mike. I appreciate the call or the talk today. The went over quite a few things. Probably the longest show so far. Um, but yeah, I had to get some things fixed up on our YouTube and everything because apparently these weren't live streaming, and I had to load them manually. So
Hey, do
we'll
me
play a little
a
catch up.
favor when you can send me, because I don't know what this is, the RSS link.
I
To
don't think
plug
they
it
make
in,
those
just send
anymore.
it. Just WhatsApp it to me. But I want to post that somewhere.
Okay, I'll send you
I
something to post. I don't know if there's RSS anymore. I think that's old. It's all right, man.
Well, I'm old.
Yeah, I mean, you've been working 150 years in the mortgage industry, so
That was an exaggeration, Brandon. It's less than 140.
shoot. All right, man. Till next time, everybody. Appreciate everybody listening to our show. This is
Peace
Brandon. This
out.
is Michael. See you, buddy.
Take care, man. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye. All right.